Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. I had a night off yesterday, which I will tell you all about at the end of the video, just in case somebody doesn't need to be hearing that, because tonight we are talking analogue preparations and social preparations. Analogue because I have notes. What did I do with my notes? Oh my goodness, I written it down. There we go. I have notes. So, seemingly, according to Reuters, the person called Konstantin Vorontsov, who is the Deputy Director of Russian Foreign Ministry's Department for Non-Proliferation and Arms Control, he says that the use of Western satellites to aid the Ukrainian war effort was an extremely dangerous trend. Oh, okay, so they don't like that, that's fine. However, quasi-civilian infrastructure may be a legitimate target for a retaliatory strike. We are talking about the involvement of components of civilian space infrastructure, including commercial, by the US and its allies in armed conflict. Now that's what he was quoted as saying. And basically, what the suggestion is that means is that the satellites, like your Starlink that Elon Musk's doing at the moment, or possibly your other ones, commercial satellites used by the West, are seen as legitimate targets. Now, if satellites go down, then militarily, that's not a good thing. But also for us nowadays, we do so much with satellites, with internet. Your mobile phones, your Wi-Fi, everything like that. All that sort of stuff, all got interconnected stuff. I don't actually know the technical terms for it, but there is much interconnected stuff that's done by these satellites, and if they get knocked out, we will not have, or we may not have, access to a lot of the information that we're used to being able to accessing. So I'm thinking analogue preparation would be quite good. If you use recipes from the internet or information from YouTube, write it down, get yourself a pretty notepad or a pretty folder, get the information going. Write down your recipes, write down your hints and tips, anything you've learnt from the guys on this channel, get it written down, because if you lose your internet, then you're not going to be able to look it up again. And you really don't want to be without that if, it gets to that stage and things are out for a while and you're like, oh, I don't know how to make bread. Because, I genuinely don't know how to make bread. I have to go and get my book where I wrote it down and bring it out. So I'm okay for bread if we lose the internet. But, like my daughter does not have anything written down. It's all on her phone. So are many people's information that I know. They keep everything on their phone or everything on their computer. I have various bits and various books and various notepads. I really need to consolidate them and get it together. So I'm only looking for one thing when I'm panicking, not 6. So yes, analogue prepping, I think, just with that headline going, I'm thinking making a wee start on that could be quite a good thing. And the other thing that I just recently saw in the news, and they're talking about schools, leisure centres, your council, for us, our local authority funded things. And I'm like, well, it can't be that bad. They're going to have to keep the schools open. It's not like they can close the schools, because that was the, scary headline. Schools and leisure centres may have to close. Until they told me that the school electricity bill used to be 5 million. It's supposed to be 20 million this year. Where on earth is that coming from? How are they going to do that? Leisure centres, leisure centres barely break even anyway because of the energy that they use, keeping everything warm, keeping the swimming pool warm, etc. But now people are coming into leisure centres to stay warm, to have a shower, because it's cheaper having a shower there if you pay your membership, especially if you're a pensioner or, you know, on benefits or a student or something like that, your membership per week is cheaper than having a shower at home. So what's going to happen when all that goes squinty? Because, you know, it's just something that you always think is going to be there. Well, the schools are going to be there. And no, they're not. And they were speaking to one school in Wales, and the headmistress is like, she says, well, we've got the breakfast club. She says, and we stay open until 5, and parents can come in and we can help them and get a cup of tea, you know. They do so much more. And of course it keeps the kids warm, the kids are getting fed, etc., etc. And all that's going to go out the window. What's going to happen instead? Because there's going to be a lot more suffering if we're all sitting in our own wee boxes. We need to have community spaces. And whether these are set up by the council or whether these are set up by community groups, if you know of a community space, go and support it. Go visit it, see if you can help, see if you can volunteer, or even just go and have a cup of tea and get a bit warm if it's cold. But we need to keep an eye out for this because, you know, the fact that they're saying that now, and the ECD or some banks put their interest up by 0.75%. America's growth numbers are not as good as they thought. They've decreased, I think, for the second quarter in a row, which possibly may be classed as a depression, or recession. I'm not sure, but it's not good, whatever it is. And I think now, although there's a lot of stuff coming up saying, well, the weather's not going to be as bad as we thought, and energy prices aren't going to be as bad as we thought, our energy prices don't change for a while. And considering the profits that the likes of Shell's making, they're not going to change them for a while either. So have a look, see what you've got. See what's available to you, whether it's drop-in centres, whether it's libraries, whether it's a community group, just hiring a hall, local church hall, anything like that. If it's there, go support people, and plus the fact you'll then meet people and you can share ideas and help each other and stuff. So yes, that's my cunning plan for today. So as for my birthday, thank you so much for all the birthday messages. They were so kind. I did not expect half as many. Patrick and I went out last night, as I had said. We went to the Enchanted Forest in Pitlochry, which is a beautiful place. Let's just say I do not do well when places are busy. Like, I really don't do well when places are busy. So that was a bit of a thing. You know, we went up in the bus and we got off, and it was just busload after busload after busload going into a forest, and you went round a walkway. And I mean, if I had been there when it was quiet, I would have loved it to bits, because it was like pretty lights going off in the trees to music and all this sort of stuff. And I mean, I could have stood and watched that for hours. It could have taken me hours to do that walk. As it was, I literally power walked the last half, desperate to get out. It was just too many people, too many kids, too many, oh, stop here and take a photographs, and everyone's like traffic jammed behind them because they're taking up the whole walkway doing their photographs. So yeah, that wasn't the best. However, Patrick and I made the best out of it. We found a nice little coffee shop in Pitlochry that had armchairs and stuff, so we went in and had a cup of tea. So that was fine. And as Patrick said, the other pluses were it did not rain. And also, we know we'll not be going back there again. Been there, done that, got the biscuits. So yeah, that was my day. So yes, it was a lovely day. I felt so special. Patrick came to see me at 6:45 in the morning. He just appeared at the door with happy birthdays. So we sat and made a cup of tea. Then my daughter Kathleen, she came and appeared at the door with happy birthdays and balloons and chocolates and flowers and stuffs and fleecy jammies, because that was her job, was to get me fleecy jammies, because she's the queen of fleecy jammies. So we had that. Then I went into work, where I thought it was Kathleen's car. Yes, walked in the door and they did the, you know, the confetti cannon things. I had two of them. They were fabulous. So every time I went in and out the office, I'm like, it's my birthday. There's so much coloured paper all over the floor. So yeah, boss man bought lunch. Boss man let me away half an hour. Well, he was going to let me away an hour early, but I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask him about work, so I had to get them done because I wanted to get them done. So I ended up leaving about half an hour early and then headed through to Patrick and went up to the Enchanted Forest. So yeah. So again, thank you so much for all your birthday wishes. I hope you had a nice quiet time while I was away. See, and I'm coming back all nice and gentle and sensible. We'll see how long that lasts. Catch you later.